Hey YouTube, welcome back to Dwayne's World. So do you ever dread doing those DIY projects, especially the ones where you got to get down low and have a hard time because of your back? Well, that's me. You want to find out what I'm going to do to make it a little bit better? Well, you better stay tuned. All right, so welcome back to season 4, episode 7, lucky 7 here on Dwayne's World. Now, before I get into the actual video of what I want to show you guys today, which is one of these things I picked up from my garage, I want to give you guys a quick update here on the back lawn since we went through and did the verticut, scarify, and a cleanup pass, along with throwing down my pre-emergent, because it actually looks a little bit different than what you guys had seen when I did that video. So let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, guys, so as you guys can see here, definitely warmer temperatures in the area. It's caused this green up, which is great. Definitely cannot wait to get this season started. But a couple things I just want to point out. Now, I did do one additional cleanup pass since you guys had seen my last video where I did that last cleanup pass after I did the verticut and scarify. But there's also something else I went ahead and did in between that last video and this one, and that is an application of both Celsius and Certainty to be able to take care of some broadleaf weeds as well as some POA that was in my lawn. Now, one of the things I just want to point out here, you notice here, and probably what looks like the greenest patch that I have on my lawn here, there's a lot of yellowing and discoloring. Well, that is from the Celsius, believe it or not. Now, people have asked in the past, Dwayne, is it harmful to put down any type of herbicide during your green up? And this is something you have to keep in mind if you choose to do so. Because as you can see here on my lawn, I had quite a bit of areas that I had to spray. And now what has happened because of that is it has delayed the green up in some of those areas. But I'm not worried about it. It's all going to come back, but it will slow it down. And this is why, again, it's so important to understand that whenever you're using any type of herbicide during that green up phase, you are going to set it back just slightly. But overall, looking pretty good. All right, guys, before I get into the actual video, I just want to mention to you, I have absolutely no relationship at all with Catapillar. You know, I've done videos here on Dwayne's World where I have had a manufacturer actually reach out to me and want me to try out their product or want me to do an installation of their product or a review of their product. And you guys have seen some of those videos. I always wanted to be transparent with you guys and tell you I did not purchase those on my own, and they were sent to me by the manufacturer. But in this particular video, the Catapillar Utility Seat, I actually seen in one of my big box stores and thought, this is something I may want to use in my garage. And as I was getting ready to unbox it, I thought, you know, with all the DIY enthusiasts I have following my channel, I figured I'd put this on video for you guys. So if you're bored, take a look at it. If you're interested in a product, maybe you want to invest in one on your own, ultimately up to you. I thought it was just something I could use in my garage. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look here at the unboxing of the Catapillar Utility Seat. All right, guys, so here we have it. It's the Cat Rolling Utility Seat with detachable sitting creeper. So let's go ahead and open up the box, show you guys what's inside it, and then we'll put it together. All right, so it looks like we got 4 of these storage cups. Go ahead and put whatever you want in there, either towels or tools or any other knickknacks that you feel like you need to go onto the cart. Also some bigger tubs here to be able to hold some of your bigger items. My guess, even though I haven't opened these, probably our caster wheels. And then we also have all of our bracketry here to be able to put together our seat. And looks like we probably have more hardware there in the box. All right, so with that, let's go and take a look at the instructions and see what I need to put together first. All right, guys, so this is one of the brackets here that will basically hold 2 of the caster wheels. Now, the manufacturer does have these boxes labeled with A, B, and C, which will have all of your hardware that you're going to need to put everything together. So the first thing we want to do is we want to be able to install these caster wheels to the bracket here. Now, if you look at the caster wheels themselves, there's basically 2 types. You have one that has a lock on it and one that doesn't. So in box C here, you're pretty much going to have all of your washers, your actual nuts, for you to be able to put these caster wheels and attach them to the bracket. All right, so as I pointed out here, you have a locking caster wheel and one that doesn't. Now, each of the locking ones will go on to the same axle. Now, of course, just adding the hardware here. Now, the kit does include a tool set here that you can use to be able to put everything together. But I gotta tell you, I never like the toolkits that come along with any of these particular products. So I have my ratchet here that's going to make it a little bit easier and quicker for me to be able to put it together. But one of the things you do want to do is you want to hold down the inner nut here. That's going to help you be able to tighten it down. So that way, as you're using your ratchet here, the actual axle won't move on you, and you'll be able to securely lock everything down. So just buttoning up this side of the axle here, and then we'll go ahead and be able to move on to the other axle. Now remember, these are going to be the wheels that do not have the locking mechanism, but we're going to grab our hardware here, and we're just going to be able to put everything together as I did with the other axle. All right, so now that we got the one side set up here, now I'm going to go ahead and just put the other and last wheel and go ahead and tighten everything down with my wrench and ratchet. Right, so now that we got our axles put together, there's these boxes here that are actually going to be for some storage. They'll basically sit underneath the seat there. So I'm going to go ahead and just set these to the side for a second here. Now, as you guys notice in box A here, there's all of this other hardware, and this is basically going to be for the main frame here that's going to attach your caster wheel axles to the actual seat. Now you just want to make sure you do line up your holes, so that way as you put your hardware together, everything's going to line up. I did find it a little bit easier to put the seat here on its back, so I went ahead and removed the creeper portion and just kind of set it upside down here. All right, so now with the included hardware, I'm going to take one of these longer bolts, kind of set it in there. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the frame bracket here, get our holes to line up, kind of push everything through. All right, so I went ahead and moved my camera here and give you guys a little bit better view. As you can see here, though, the bolts just hang out just enough for us to be able to put on the nuts and washers to be able to secure it to the actual seat. All right, so I kind of found it easier here to go ahead and take my gloves off just because the hardware is so small. That way I can get everything finger tight before I go ahead and get my wrench out to be able to lock it all down. All right, so as I mentioned earlier in the video, it does include the wrench for you to be able to use. Now there is two sizes to it, one on each side, but it also does include a little Allen key here that we're going to go ahead and use along with my ratchet to be able to secure down all of the hardware. All right, so now that we got the one side button up there, now I'm going to go ahead and install the second frame rail here on the opposite side. Again, I'm just going to put everything together finger tight, and then we'll be able to lock it down with the Allen key and the wrench. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and install the axles here on the frame rail. Now the locking wheels actually go on the back of the mower, so we want to make sure we're putting these on the front side of the mower here because these are not the locking wheels. So I just used the logo there on the side there to tell me which side is facing forward. And then with our hardware, I'm going to go ahead and attach the axles to the frame rails. All right, so just like I did with the actual frame rails, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Allen wrench here, along with my ratcheting wrench, to be able to secure the axle to the frame rails. All right, so now we're going to move on to the back side of the seat here and install our locking caster wheels the same way we did the front wheels. All right, so now that we got the frame rails and the axles all installed, go ahead and flip over the seat here. And then we have those little cargo trays I mentioned that will actually sit here underneath the seat. Now there is a little guide here that will actually sit on the axle. And these will just be mainly used for storage. And both sides are exactly the same. You just want to make sure you put the little storage containers in the right way. Now there's also this little translucent tray here that basically sits under the seat as well. All right, so then you have these cup holder looking bins here. These are basically going to attach to the larger trays that are underneath the seats. There's a total of 6 of them, and they basically just press down onto each of the sides here of the bottom tray. And we'll just come over to the other side here. and do the exact same thing just by pressing them down. They basically snap in. And then there's 2 more left to install. Now, one of the things I just wanted to point out here is that they are perforated at the bottom. So you definitely want to be careful if you do plan on putting any hardware in there. If it's smaller than the slots, it'll fall through. All right, so as you guys can see here, it works great to just be able to hold your wrenches or anything else you need to be able to put underneath the seat as you're working on any particular project. Got my gloves here. Go ahead and throw them in the bottom bin there. A razor blade. And then we'll just go ahead and reinstall the creeper seat here. Just basically snaps into place. All right, there we go. In Dwayne's old fashion, we'll go ahead and do an orbital spin here so you guys can see what it looks like. But again, the main reason why I purchased this thing was for the seat. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. See how well it works and how comfortable it is. It's not too bad, not too bad. Now, there doesn't feel like too much cushioning here, but I'm not necessarily looking for a lazy boy out here in the garage, but I think it's going to work out really well. I like the fact that it has these little storage compartments here, so that way I can basically put in anything I might need for my particular project. I might be working on my mower, as you guys can see here. Maybe I'm going to be doing some auto detailing, any type of polisher, to be able to get down the side of the vehicle. But I think it's going to work out really well. As you guys can see, I have the McLean here, so I'm going to be doing a backlap on it. I need to get it kind of cleaned up. I did use it quite a bit when I did my cleanup passes. Yeah, just because of the fact that it was a lot of dead grass, it tends to put a little more wear on your mower. So I think it's that time to get ready for the upcoming year. I definitely want to make sure all of my equipment, not just this McLean, but all of my equipment is sharp and ready to go. All right, guys, so it's probably been about a week and a half since I actually put that part of the video together for you guys. And I just wanted to leave you guys with some thoughts on how I feel like the utility seat has been working out since I put that on video. Now, I am doing a new video that I'm working on right now on my California Trimmer Classic. And it's definitely been a huge help when working on that mower. It's definitely helpful for not having to get up and down. And one of the things I actually did not realize that I would be enjoying so much are the little holders where you can put a lot of different things. So it's kind of like a mini tool cart that you can kind of set up so that way you have everything right then and there when you're actually working on any particular project. So again, I mainly bought it for the seat, but at the same time, being able to have those little compartments for me to be able to put any tools or any type of supplies I might need for that project is definitely a key selling point when it comes to this utility cart. Now, one of the parts of the seat I have not necessarily used as it's designed for is I've not used the creeper portion by just removing that top portion that acts as a creeper alone. I really have a need to get it under my car right now, but if I ever did, I'm sure I'm going to be using that because it definitely beats having to have your back on the concrete. So again, I absolutely would recommend this seat to anybody that maybe needs it for the garage. It's not necessarily what I would consider like a must-have, but it's definitely helpful as a garage accessory if you did want to pick one up. All right, so that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video. Again, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It doesn't cost you anything. I definitely appreciate all of the support. And remember, be excellent. Party on.